welcome to Chaos2Cured podcast. This is just going to be one of our quick tips, and we're going to talk about suggestions on how to stop impulsivity, and maybe not necessarily just stop. Remember, it's everything takes its time. So Jeffrey, since this is just going to be quick tips for parents or people going with ADHD who are dealing with it themselves, loved one, family member, what are some things that you found to be successful for people dealing with specifically impulsivity? What are some ways that they can find help or help themselves?
Well, they have to realize that because all of their senses are heightened, that they're going to be impulsive. They're going to get a feeling or an urge, and they're going to want to immediately satisfy that urge. It's a strong. Everybody has it. They have it to the third or fourth or 10th power. So once you realize that, you can also factor in that it's going to get you into trouble if you aren't careful. So the way I deal with it is I have them get away from whatever, I would say, when something's coming on, when you want to do something and there's it's off the cuff, take about 10 seconds and look up, always look up, and then visualize, if you can, and you usually can, what may happen as a consequence if they do what they're about to do. Like, for example, if they want to go and grab their parents' car without asking permission, what are the possible outcomes? Well, one of them is you're going to get yelled at, probably grounded. And if you get into an accident or a cop stops you, it's going to be a lot worse than that. And then ask yourself this question: is it worth it? Am I willing to accept the consequences if it goes south on me? And then do it or not do it. But at least then they've actually glimpsed the consequences using their great strength, which is visualization. It's guided imagery. And they kind of know, and if you take that step, you still may do it. You may still take your parents' car, but at least you had it coming because you've factored in what may happen. It's a fair bargain. And the other thing is just simply take 20 seconds or 15 and do the breathing technique. 4 seconds in, hold, 4 seconds out, breathe out. And that particular cycle, do it like 3 or 4 times. It's not going to take you very long. And then go back and consider it. You're interrupting the process. The urge has time to either pass or be considered. And that's the cure. If they do these things, the probability of them not doing something impulsive, which will get them into a lot of trouble, drops. And it drops significantly. And that will work.
I love that one. For me, one thing that has helped with impulsivity is kind of knowing the difference between is it a habit or is it an impulsive need to communicate something, or just a true impulsion. So what I do want to say to people that I guess have this particular issue, it's very common for ADHD, bipolar. I mean, there's a ton of other things that we can kind of, I know, autism. So it's not something that's always easy. You're going to have to be patient with yourself. I think the one thing that you mentioned, which is kind of like, thinking about things, the breathing in, I really like that, did help me. So everybody that just heard Jeffrey mention that is extremely helpful. One thing to know about impulsivity is, for me, a lot of it is a fear that I'm going to lose a thought, or fear
Right.
that I'm not going to say what I need to say, or I'm going to forget it. So you can use the mental imagery to come up with, people can look up a memory palace. You can do things that allow you to kind of put that thought into a vault, so you're not going to lose it. And as soon as you're not going to lose that thought, the anxiety goes away, and that push to say something kind of vanishes. So the delay strategy that you mentioned, the breathing, being able to visualize the consequences. I love that you mentioned that. If you have to act, I think there's a very simple question is, Do you need to do it immediately? And almost the answer is almost always never.
Exactly.
So give yourself the gift of time, take a deep breath, think about the consequences. Jeffrey, that was a great tip. So these are our quick tips. We will be publishing these, and we'll of course follow up with our normal podcasts as well. So please continue to send some questions. That was one sent from a parent. So thank you. We hope that helps. Take care and have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to Chaos2Cured podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with everyone you know. And definitely like, follow, and subscribe. Certainly leave a comment if you'd like. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about the next time. Also, in our show notes, there should be direct links where you can follow us on our social media, as well as reach out to us directly. Thanks again, and have a great day. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Chaos2Cured podcast are the speaker's own. All discussion is based on our own experiences. We do not and cannot guarantee the accuracy or completeness of any information. Chaos2Cured podcast cannot give medical or health advice. All discussion is based upon our personal experiences and meant for general and educational purposes. This podcast is not a substitute for professional help or for diagnostic purposes for yourself or another. Chaos2Cured podcast always encourages you to consult an appropriate professional.